Hello friends, and welcome to Escaping the Mouse with your host, me, Breck Rowell. Alright, I got a little bit of a mystery that I want to explore today. As you know, I've been kind of looking at this Roadside America website to kind of find some interesting things to show you. And there's been something that I've kind of seen on there for a while that it's an old restored gas station from 1929, an old Gulf gas station that a couple of brothers restored just because they wanted an interesting place to hang out, and I guess they like working on old cars. It isn't actually a functioning gas station, but it's an interesting looking building. Now, I haven't been sure I wanted to really vlog this location because I wasn't really sure how much I would have to talk about it. You know, because it's just a gas station, you know, okay, fine, you know, it'd probably be interesting to look at, but there isn't really a whole lot of history about it online. And so, like I said, I've been a little reluctant to do anything about it. Well, this morning I took a little closer look at it and decided that, you know, maybe I will go out and visit it. And what I usually like to do when I'm researching a video location is, you know, get a good idea on the map where it is. I like to look at the area on Street View just so I kind of know where it is, what's around it. And when I was looking at Street View, I uncovered an interesting mystery. First off, it's on the corner of Washington and 15th Street. And if you look at the Street View image from Washington, you look at that corner from Washington Avenue, you see the building after it's been restored into a gas station, and it looks just, you know, it looks kind of cool. But you go to the little side street, you move literally 5 feet onto the side street, 15th Street, and look at the street view from there, and that's an image from 2012. And when I looked at the image from 2012, this was way before it was built, way before it was restored, and I saw something interesting in the image, and it reminded me of a vlog I did for you a couple weeks ago. There is a life-size gorilla standing on the grounds of the gas station, and it looks remarkably like Darwin the gorilla that I showed you a couple weeks ago. And I thought, that's really interesting. I wonder if it's the same gorilla. Well, I'm not convinced anymore it's the same gorilla, but they might be related. It might be done by the same artist, or, you know, from the same mold or something like that. But I thought it was interesting that less than 2 miles from each other, there are two virtually identical gorillas. One of them, you know, in front of that house I showed you a couple weeks ago, and one of them that was in front of this gas station. Like I said, I don't think it's the same gorilla because when I was researching for the Darwin video a couple weeks ago, I found a YouTube video shot in 2009 that showed the woman who was the person who painted Darwin, and she said at that point that there was probably already 100 coats of paint on it. But the Street View image that I showed was of the gorilla in front of the gas station was from 2012. So obviously it couldn't be the same gorilla. But you know what? It got me thinking, and I started trying to really decide, you know, if there is some connection between the two. Like I said, the two locations are less than 2 miles apart. The woman who owns the house, who owns the gorilla, worked at a company that was a kind of dead center between the two locations, and her husband ran a company that was a little further down Washington over the river. So it's at least plausible that this woman, Marcy, was aware of this gorilla sitting in front of the gas station. And like I said, I just wanted to go check it out and look at all the locations and see if I can, you know, put the pieces together, you know, about what this other gorilla is and where it went and what its origins were and all that. So let's go check this out. All right, so this is the garage here that I was talking about. Like I said, if you look at the street view from basically this angle, you saw the garage basically as it stands now. But if you get down here and you look at it over here from the angle from 15th Street, Darwin is standing, well, the gorilla, whoever it is standing kind of right between those two pumps where that Gulf oil storage place is. So I thought that was kind of interesting. I've kind of looked around the place. There are actually people in there right now, so I might go try and talk to them and see if they know something about this. But this place is kind of interesting. I actually peered inside the window. They got a lot of cool memorabilia, so it'd be really neat if I could get in there even and wander around. So I'm gonna go talk to somebody and see what I can find out. I noticed he's even got the little rubber hose running around the entrance there, so you can let people know when the cars come in. That's kind of cool. Look at these gas pumps. Got two of the same one. Yeah, you can tell this place is going to be pretty interesting. You know, look at it, even got a nice little Thunderbird out here in front. I'm wondering maybe if this is one that he drives a little bit more regularly, just because it is out front here. Kind of a cool gas pump back here. That's neat. Yeah, let's go talk to him, see if he'll let us in. All right, so I met one of the brothers. I met Randy, and basically, you know, it isn't just cars they restore. Look at all this great stuff in here. They restore, you know, he's restoring a boat out there. He's got some jukeboxes. And basically, it's just a hobby. He just loves doing this kind of stuff, and he's trying to teach his son to get into it. But right now, it doesn't seem like the son is that into it. But you know, the kid's 8 or 9 years old, so he already has somewhat of an interest in cars. He says he wants his first car to be a Firebird, so at least that's something you can work from. But you know, check out all the old lanterns and stuff like that. You know, top of a Gulf gas station pump, old Coca-Cola memorabilia. He basically just said I could wander around here and look. So, you know, it's just another example of what I say about how people in Texas are just really nice. Now, I did look around to ask him about the gorilla. I told him, you know, about Darwin and all that fun stuff, and he says, yeah, that was here. It was belonged to the people who lived here or that owned this place before he did, and basically they took the gorilla with him. And what he said is that the Darwin gorilla that I saw over, you know, on Austin Avenue a couple weeks ago that I showed you back then, that was made probably from the same mold. He says there's a company a little north or a little south of here called Bruceville Eddy, and I guess I've seen it a few times while I've been in my travels, because it's right along the I-35, and so it's really hard not to miss, you know, a bunch of like animal statues along the road. But they said that the one that was out in front here is from the same mold that the Darwin was from. So I thought that was really interesting. We actually answered my question here. Having to talk a little bit here so I don't get the copyright hit on it. Look, I guess that's a picture of the original building here. Let me see if I can get this in so I don't have you know, my glare and the shadow in it too much. But yeah, that's the original building. Look, there's an old historical map of Waco from 1873. Yeah, he's restoring a bunch of stuff in here. He's got several cars taken apart right now. I love a lot of this stuff. Look at this. This is great. Old telephone. I don't know if it works or not. Old slot machine. Oh, check out this old cash register here. Actually, it's an old adding machine here, but actually it might have been a cash register too, because looks like that's what's beneath it there. Yeah, he just seems to like a lot of the vintage stuff here. Really kind of cool old Texas flag here. That thing's vintage. Look at that. So I apologize, people. I had to overdub the audio on this next clip because I got a copyright hit on the music that was playing in the background. And frankly, I don't want to share my revenue with Huey Lewis. Check out the old painting of Elvis. I'm sure Jordan would like that. I just really love the old signage here. Here's another old vintage telephone. And this old wagon wheel up there, he was showing me one of the cars he's working on right now. Actually has wood spoked wheels on it, which is pretty amazing. Now, I don't really know cars that well. Only that this is an older car here. What is this? This is a Thunderbird. Now, I don't really know the year, but I'm sure someone will comment here on the video about what it is. Check out this old parking meter here. That's pretty cool. Kind of a neat old saddle up here. Like I said, he just restores a bunch of stuff that he likes. I was asking him if he sells any of this stuff or does it as a commission. He says, no, it's pretty much just for my own interest. He just buys things that he likes and restores them. And I guess his brother does the same thing too. He says it's he and his brother and his father that own this place. And like I said, he's trying to get his son to get into it too. An old Chevy pickup. Now, like I said, I don't know cars that well, so I don't know the year. I'm sure someone will comment on that. Yeah, here's some more Elvis for you. Get back a little bit further so we can take the whole thing in here for you. But check out this pickup. This thing's great. Nice work he does. It looks new. Check out the interior, like the cowhide interior in here. That's really cool. Another vintage gas pump here. He's got all sorts of these things all over the place. And check out the little scooter. That's really cool too. Royal Crown thermometer. Yeah, old barber pole. An old Renault. This one looks like it's still in the process of being restored. No windshield and the seats are out and over here. And check out that old neon sign. That'll look cool somewhere. Oh, and that too. Check out that Coke sign. Wow. A lot of really great stuff here. This is the car I was telling you about with the spoke wheels. He was saying that he had to remove the water pump because it was all seized up. That'll look really cool in front of this place, so, you know, because it's an old Gulf station. But he restores old boats. There's another jukebox that's in the process of being done. He's talking at some point he's going to make a museum out of this place. And I think that would be a real good idea if he did. This would be one of those hobbies that'd be really fun to do if you had the talent for this kind of thing. I don't know. I maybe could, but I don't really have the patience for it. Or the knowledge, you know. You got to really have the ability to wander around and try and, find some of the replacement parts that you need to do things like that. Check out the wood spoke wheels on this thing. That's cool. I was noting that it had a hand crank to start up. He says it actually has an electric starter, but that he needed to have the crank in there to try and see if he could get the engine to turn, and that was how he determined that the water pump was all seized up by trying to hand crank it. So, and while I was walking back to my car, I checked out some of these houses. Look at this house. This is insane. There's some just really beautiful houses down here. Yeah, I could definitely live in a place like that. That'd be a $10 million house in California. It's probably only $1 million here. Look at the decorative work up there. It's amazing. They don't build them like that anymore. And check out this place. Holy cow, that's amazing too. Actually, you'd think you'd see a bunch of Mercedes-Benz and Rolls-Royces in that, but those are just pretty common cars. Just shows how affordable everything is here. Just an amazing house. That's just literally right across the street from the one that we just looked at. This is just another entrance to that one. Wow, and as I was walking past this one, note all the air conditioner units they got to keep this thing cool. I see at least 5 like industrial air conditioners there. I guess that's what you got to do, you know, and to cool a place like this in the summer. Then there's this house. This is actually a decent house too. It's just really run down. Doesn't look like anybody's even living here. You know, it's just all overgrown. Doesn't look like those gates have opened in some time. And the actual front entry gate here is so overgrown you couldn't even open the gate if you wanted to. But who knows, maybe there is somebody living here. I see little stuff here. Just not sure how they get in. So I was actually planning to go and visit the location where the woman who owns Darwin worked, just to show you where that was, and take you over the river and show you where her husband worked, just to show you that it was plausible that they would have known that this thing was here. But since we basically found out everything we needed to know by getting a chance to talk to Randy here, I don't really see any reason to do that. This was really interesting. I'm glad I did this, and I want to really thank Randy for allowing me in and letting me wander around and look at all the cool things he's got. So anyway, I think that is all that I have for today. Thank you as always for watching, and I will see you next time on Escaping the Mouse. Good night.